Guys, welcome back to HalfMoon Customs. This is the virtual car show Saturday. Y'all are going to get to hang out with us and check out what HalfMoon Customs has got in the inventory that, well, runs. We have other stuff, it just doesn't run. So anyway, we're going to let you walk down the line, and we've got you a pretty good line of vehicles to check out today. So today, we've got one new vehicle that we're going to introduce to y'all that we have bought. We haven't showed it on the channel yet, and I really want to show it to y'all and get you to, you know, check it out with us. It's a pretty awesome truck, but you're going to have to stick around. You're going to have to stick around because we're not going to show it to you just yet. So we've got the 79 F-150. It is a 400. It's got the C6 automatic. Everything's pretty muchly bone stock. Bought this truck in Alamo, Tennessee. Bought it actually with the wrecker. If y'all watched some of the other videos, you saw where this was actually purchased at. Initially didn't even know if I was going to buy it, and we just struck a good deal on it. Decided to go ahead and pick it up. So this one has been retrofitted with a vintage AC compressor, and it is set up for R134A. So check that out. You got a standing AC compressor, but you have the original air box. You have all of that as original, but then you have it retrofitted with this R134A kit. Makes it a really nice truck. She cranks up and runs, just purrs.
Yeah, that thing's nice.
So this makes a real good driver. I don't slam them hard enough.
That's why they fly up.
Nice cold AC.
Right off the bat. That is a nice truck.
Next up in the lineup for the virtual car show on Saturday is Gerald's ramp truck.
Old Fat Betty.
Old Fat Betty that his wife doesn't know about. Oh wait, she does now.
You put that in the bag here. It was in the bag. But I bought this in Mississippi, and I started home and I lost brakes, and then I couldn't get it running. So John actually rescued me. I think this is how it all started.
This is actually what started it all.
Oh, really? Yeah.
This is what started the HalfMoon Customs YouTube. Really
rescued me.
Rescued him when he bought this truck.
Yeah. And
funny story about it is whenever I went to go get it, I towed this one home with the highboy. We blowed black smoke everywhere trying to get it to the house.
Yeah.
But
we was an hour away.
Over an hour,
basically.
An hour away in a regular vehicle, not with a
no, well, with all the weight you had.
9,000 pounds behind you. I ran off the side of the road in the highboy.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna flip it too.
And bent my frame on my trailer.
Yeah.
So screwed that up because this wedge bed on the back is heavy as all get out. Well, tell them what have we done here?
Well, we put the grain truck. Me and John kind of went in together and bought a grain truck, and I wanted the nose and the doors, and he kind of wanted the cab for maybe another dent side 4-door conversion. And I got some stuff I need to move, and I always wanted a ramp truck. If you ever come to my house, I got toys of ramp trucks everywhere. So
we've got enough of them we could definitely use them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
One of the coolest features about this truck that me and him both really like is that he used the grain truck doors, and they have the push button handles on them, which are very unique. If you notice, you've got, this is your standard like F100 door handle right here, and you notice how they're just kind of like a cheap cheesy pull up.
Yeah.
But what we really liked about these is you've got a push button, which kind of is reminiscent to the way the older ones were.
Bump sides.
The bump sides. But anyway, it's this is pretty cool little setup. He's actually thinking he may put some fender skirts in down here where we close it in, because the width is a little bit different, and it kind of makes it a little bit, you know, it don't look quite right. But we know that.
Not the John.
But we're thinking we're going to fab up something custom here to kind of do that.
Go all the way across there. Won't even see it where it will.
Gerald has these Hot Wheels dreams. He wants to make it look like a Hot Wheels truck.
I want it to look like a toy. That's my whole thing. I want it to look like a toy.
The hood spear's off of what?
That's off of 57.
57
Chevy.
It's cool though. I like it.
I'm keeping it on there.
I think it should stay.
My dad had a 55, and I kind of left it on there for my dad.
So a little bit more of a backstory on this as well. If y'all saw where we introduced Fat Betty, what he's done here is he's actually kept all of the F-350 radiator support, inner structure pieces. And then what he's done is he's actually fabbed up these fenders to bolt on to the, why don't you open it up and show them. These fenders actually bolt on to the original F-350 aprons, which is really cool. I love the way that he did that. The grill hangs down below the frame on the F-350, but we left it, and then he cut the frame on the F-350 and bolted the F-600 frame sections in, and he's struggling with the hood now all of a sudden.
Well, this is bent, and I need to bend it back. Probably because I slam it.
Well, maybe we won't show y'all that.
Yeah, well, I'll get it here in a second.
So the frame section is actually the F600 frame section, and it's bolted down to it, and then we're going to come back and plate everything in and hold it where it'll be good and structural, and we can use the tow hooks.
Maybe.
I think you're just not going to do it. It ain't going to happen.
Well, I got it earlier. That hook's bent, and it wants to catch on the hood.
So here you go. Gerald's got his hood open finally.
Yeah. I need to work on this latch. He wants to catch in there, and it needs bent down right here.
So this is another, what, 400 on this one also?
Yeah, 351 modified.
Yeah.
400.
You got the stock F350 apron, and then he's actually taken, let's see, on this.
That's all I had to shim it.
What he's done is he's welded the F350 fender lip to the F600 fenders. So you have to kind of shim everything and get it where it's supposed to be height-wise.
Yeah, and then I'm going to bolt it here.
And then he used part of the F600 where it bolted to the grill. He kept that, but then put a flat plate in here to where everything would bolt up. And so all of this front clip bolts on and off just like it would be from the factory.
And I used pieces from the other in the inside of here. And you can see where I welded it to make it fit, so I could bolt it on.
That's part of the F600 core support, ain't it? Yeah. So you just kind of used
a little bit
of it.
Yeah, just pieces.
But the cool part is
About
you get to keep all of the AC box and everything that goes with the F350.
Yeah, and I didn't have to cut it out or nothing. It's all left alone.
And then what he's done is he's actually going to end up having to put fender extensions on. These trucks normally would have a fender extension that hangs down here. And so what he's done is he's going to end up taking about 5 inches out of them to shorten them up, because if not, they would be about here on the ground.
Yeah, they're on the ground almost.
So you take about 5 inches out of them, pull that up.
And I cut 8 inches out of the running board. Here, I can start this thing up. It's loud. It needs muffler.
Yeah, that one needs a muffler for sure.
And we're gonna have friends of the Smokies. That guy told me it was brand new when he put it in there. He said it only had like 7,000 miles on it. So
it runs good.
Runs good. But the guy, what I told him, I said I could drive it all the way back home. He said, well, sure. So I made it halfway anyway.
He didn't bother to tell him that the brake pads and shoes on the rear axle were put in completely wrong.
Yeah.
They had no idea what they were doing.
He said it's got brand new brakes on it. Whoever did it, I wouldn't trust him. That's for sure.
So we got it to the house, and that was one of the first things they had to do is pull the axle shafts out and start on the brake shoes.
Front and back.
Yeah, front and back.
I put all new lines, front and back on it.
It's all new steel lines. He's got new prop valve, master cylinder has been changed out. It's all brand new stuff. So brakes are important when you have a ramp truck.
Yeah.
You don't want to have bad or weak brakes. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, when I started, I was in Muscle Shoals when I called you.
Yeah, you were, I guess, did you buy it in Muscle Shoals?
Just past it. I think I was in Muscle Shoals.
I thought I met you in Corinth.
I did get past Muscle Shoals. I was in Corinth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the time I got to Corinth, it didn't have no brakes at all. And it didn't want to run.
Yeah. And he had the 69 on the back of it.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like he was unloaded either.
Yeah, I wasn't stranded, that's for sure. I could back it off and take off if I wanted to.
You just couldn't hook the 69 up to it.
No, I couldn't
hook
hook it up to it, no.
So
but that's my beast, my baby.
That's Fat Betty. 79 we call Paw Paw. That's Paw Paw. The 76 over here, the blue one, doesn't actually have a name. I haven't come up with one for it, so if y'all got any suggestions on this one, we're all ears. It's blue, but it's so rusty, or really the paint's just kind of all flaked off to the point that this truck, when I bought it, I thought it was green. I honestly couldn't even see the blue. It looked green. It had so much tree sap and the green. The paint, what had happened is the rust had actually bled over the blue and turned it green. So we've done a lot of work with like CLR and pressure washing and stuff to try to get this one to actually come back to be a blue truck, surprisingly.
Yeah, when you sent me a picture, I thought it was green. Then I came out here and it was blue.
I know. So the funny thing on these is they have a galvanized wiper cowl that when the paint flakes off, it doesn't rust because it's galvanized, but obviously it looks a little off compared to the rest of the truck that's rusty. But I love this truck with all of the color, the stripes and the white. I mean, it just kind of has a good look to it. When I bought the truck, it had a camper top on the back and the back glass was busted out of it, but everything on the inside of the bed is super solid. And then what I done is I stripped that off and then I started working on lowering this thing. So on the back of this, I try to do everything kind of with a budget in mind. So the back half is actually the factory 9-inch, and then what I done is I bought some leaf spring axle saddles on eBay and just flipped the axle on top, welded it down. I'm sure plenty of y'all are familiar with doing that. And then I added a 1.5-inch drop block on top of that. And then I ended up putting a mini C-notch in the frame. That set the back down pretty low, as you can see.
I can't believe you got that low.
And the great part is that it rides good. The front end is John Rod's drop beams. It's John Pennington out of, it's more in South Carolina. I don't know. He's in some hole over there in South Carolina.
He'll enjoy that, won't he?
But anyway, it's got John Rod's drop beams. They're a 4.5-inch drop beam. It's a great setup because it doesn't affect your suspension travel or anything. You still have the same factory amount of suspension travel with his drop beams. All it does is just moves that point up. And he makes some really nice stuff, custom machined tie rod drops and stuff. It's so much better than the DJM drop beams, I'm telling y'all. Daylight and dark difference on the quality and everything. If you get a chance to get a hold of a set of those, definitely buy those. They're well worth the money. So this truck has an Explorer coil, a Moog CC870 is the Explorer. It's like an early 90s Ford Explorer coil spring. That drops the truck about 2 inches, gives it a really nice setting it down. That kind of matches with my 1.5-inch drop block. This truck actually, if you looked underneath it, the radius arms are maybe 2.5, 3 inches off the ground. It has very little ground clearance in that aspect, but when you wouldn't know it. When you get in it and you go down the road in it, it rides better than that 79 sitting over there.
Show them the inside of this
just
thing.
Smooth as silk.
Inside of this thing.
I've got a vintage air kit bought. about half installed on it. I haven't made it back to it. So this one has a 351 Windsor, and I got this one out of a 88 model F-150. Bought it for the motor and transmission, parted out the rest of it, and then I've stuck this motor down in it. We've got it going. Got a little corrosion on the battery terminal, but the carburetor still is not quite dialed in right. This one doesn't run the best. I'm not even gonna bother trying to fire it up. It does have an exhaust on it, but it's not, everything's not quite right on it yet. This is another one we're gonna have to work on a little bit. But there she is. It's a factory AC compressor. Got rid of the AC box over there. That's the delete plate that goes with the vintage air kit. And I'm planning on redoing my brakes. I'm probably going to end up with either a vacuum booster or maybe even a hydro boost setup. And we'll talk more about a hydro boost here in a minute. All right, so next on the list is Little Dan. This is Little Dan. Little Dan is a 69, and if y'all notice, we're going down in years. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I told y'all I had something new to show you. So what do you think? Is it going to be an older vehicle? You better believe it. 69 F600. This is called Little Dan. We call it Little Dan. My daughter actually named it Little Dan. At the time, I had a red dump truck, a 1-ton, and she named it Little Ann. So I had Little Ann and Little Dan. Well, Little Ann is no longer with us. Little Ann is actually part of the mega cab at the moment.
Yeah.
We stripped the cab off. The cab was rotted out, and we used the front section of Little Ann on the mega cab. So I don't know. Maybe we should rename the mega cab to Little Ann.
Yeah. Or Annie.
Annie. She had a procedure. She had a little procedure done.
Little orphan Annie.
So 69 F600. This one is a 361 FT with a 4-speed. I think it'd be a new process. I don't know, 435. I get those numbers all crossed up sometimes. But it's got 2-speed splitter rear end. We run all the red wasps out of it before we filmed, so hopefully there's none inside of it, but it needs a little work on the inside. So, Little Dan, I've made several hauls of gravel with Little Dan. Little Dan, I can haul about 8 tons of gravel in it. It needs quite a bit of work, y'all. The interior still needs some work. It's got new vinyl flooring in it. I gotta do a little bit of work on it. But this thing is a beast. It's got a twin cylinder dump in the back, and this thing will absolutely, it'll haul more than 8 tons, but 8 tons is about all you really want, because this truck is one of those, it's all the fun you can handle as long as you keep it under 45. You get over 45 miles an hour and your butt's fixing to be drawn down to that vinyl seat, because she's fixing to be walking all over the road. And I've hauled 2 loads of gravel, about what, 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes in it. And I can tell you what, I was wore out. So respect to the older truckers that dealt with this sort of stuff. I mean, this is sort of equipment. Yeah, it's more wore out now, but it'll wear you out. Next up is Gerald's
69
daily. This is what he dailies every day.
Yeah, I drive this thing every day. I've been here twice. And I tried to buy this truck the first time I was here, and the old guy wouldn't sell it to me. But I finally got a hold of it. After a lady smacked him in the side, on that side, you can see the different fender on it. But I finally talked him out of it. He didn't like what I did to it. I put Crown Vic on it, and I put a Crown Vic rear in it, and it did have bigger tires and wheels, but I kind of went to these smaller 18s because it rides a little better. And I call her Vicky because of the Crown Vic, I guess. I call her Vicky every now and then. I pat her on the dash, say, "Good job, Vicky," by when I get home. But it's got 390 in it. Like John says, I drive this thing every day. 2-barrel. It's got AC, but it's not hooked up. the evaporator started leaking on my floor and I unhooked it. But she's starting to get some oil leaks now. I probably put 100,000 miles on it now on the new motor. So that's my little Vicky.
Makes a good running driving truck.
Yeah, I drive it every day. Well, until the transmission went out, and then old Blue, which old Blue's getting refurbished. I'm trying to put the old Blue back together. So I'll have 2 back on the road, hopefully. I told my wife I'm going to try to get 4 on the road by the end of the year. We'll see, but
you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. That's old Vicky, though. Trusty.
So the next one here, this one is, I call this one eastbound, or eastbound and down. The whole story behind this one is, it's like a Johnny Cash song. It's a 67, 68, 69, 70, whatever. You know the song, Automobile. This is titled as a 68 F-250, and it's a highboy. So this truck, I bought it in Post Falls, Idaho, and a father and son had built this truck, and they had basically built it all for an off-road rig. They had, I think, 2 other trucks that they used for off-road purposes, like out in the Rockies, up and down, everything. They had winches, front and rear winches, and all the stuff. I mean, they had some awesome trucks. This truck was for sale over there, and this I ended up making a trip for me and my son. We went out west. We flew out of Nashville, Tennessee, into Seattle, back to Post Falls, and the seller, which was an awesome experience. They were great people. Picked us up at the airport. We drove back from there about 30 minutes to where the truck was. And this is one of those I never laid eyes on. It was just one of those, you see it online for sale. They send you as many pictures as they can send you, but you don't really know. And so we showed up, and it was one of those, I mean, you already bought it, so you're going to get it, you're going to drive it home, or you're going to end up getting a U-Haul with a trailer, and you're going to drag it home. It's going to be one of the two.
What did he say when you told him you was going to drive it home?
Oh, he was like, you sure?
Hey, are you sure?
It's like, yeah, you said it runs and drives, did you? Yeah, but I don't know about, how many miles did you say? 2,300 miles, yeah. 2,300 miles in this rig. So the cool part about this truck is they built it to be an off-road recovery rig, but then when they got done, they were like, it's too nice to use for that. So they decided to sell it, and they built another one. They had another junker or something. They started on that after I bought this one. So since I've had it, I've done some things to kind of make it my own. I've added some trim down the sides. I've added the steps to get in and out, because my wife and daughter have a little bit of a hard time getting in on the passenger side. Me too. Everybody does.
I have a hard time.
So this truck has a 79 Dana 44 disc brake front end. It's got the Dana 60 rear that come with the stock 68. It had this toolbox on it when I bought it. It had a headache rack, which probably will be going back on this truck. And then it also had a hoist, like a jackable type hoist that lift up. And it actually had a little wireless remote deal, and you could lift it up. Well, I thought about keeping it, but when I got to using it a little bit, I noticed the bedside flexing out a little bit. So I decided I'd just take it off. I didn't necessarily have to have it, and so I decided to just take it off, and I'm probably going to end up mounting it on Little Dan or something and use it in that aspect. But so the really cool thing about this truck is it has a 6.9 liter IDI and a ZF5 manual transmission that they had actually put into this truck out of an 84 model F-250. Makes a really, really nice driving truck. You can get in this thing and go down the highway, 5th gear. I mean, she tops out probably what, 82, 84 mile an hour. I can be on the interstate just blowing past people. It will run. This truck will move.
And smoke people out.
And the cool part about it is it's still got the divorce transfer case. You can lock it down in 4 low, and this thing will just walk. You could get out and you could walk faster than it's going down the road. So it's a beast. You lock it all up and it'll walk. It'll walk through whatever you get in a bind. It's It's got front and rear winches. I need to work on the relay kit for the back and get it fixed where that winch works, but the front one works great. I've used it multiple times. You've probably seen it on the channel. Me dragging stuff up on a trailer.
Yeah.
This thing is a beast.
That thing is monster.
So I've added a, what I've done on this one just recently is I've added a Hydro Boost setup. So this has a Hydro Boost bracket kit from Battleborn Brakes that they make a standoff bracket. They'll even sell you the whole setup, but what this is this is a Hydro Boost that I had found off of a marketplace. Guy had a listing with a bunch of these that he was junking out, the 2000-ish F250s. So this is a Hydro Boost off of about a 2000 F250. This is a 79 F250 master cylinder. So all I've done is just adapted all of this to make it work on this truck. I'm redoing the battery bracket kit right here, trying to get this battery tray back together. And this battery tray actually is off of a 80-something model OBS Ford. But I like the idea of using it. It gets a good spot to put my battery tray, gives me a nice coolant box, overflow box. All I gotta do is fab this up where it'll bolt down. And then I'll actually even have, well, somewhere, I think it's in the shop now, I've got the windshield washer box with the motor in it. All I gotta do is plumb all that, wire it up, and I'll have windshield wipers, washers, whatever you want to call it. So let's hear this one run. I know y'all probably heard it in some of the other videos, but we'll crank it up. And so this one has a glow plug warmer. You just push the button, hold it down, the glow plugs will come on. I don't think it's actually gonna run, Gerald. I think the battery's too weak. Yeah, it's not gonna do it. So it's got a little push button there for the glow plug. No, the battery's just run down. The battery's been running down because I've been working on the brakes, and the brake lights are staying on, and so it's causing the truck battery to run down. Y'all know, that sort of thing. So next up, we're getting a little bit older now. We've missed out on the 60s. Well, the early part of the 60s anyway. We are looking for a 60s. Need to apply free though. We're broke here. We got too many already. So we need some slicks.
Yeah, I'd like to have a unibody.
I would love to have a unibody, but you know, the money is at a certain point it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
I need to quit buying is what I need to do.
I got too many to fix too.
So this one here is a 55. This was bought, if you saw the video, it was bought in Alamo, Tennessee. And the 79, the very first truck in the video, is the original. This truck was actually bought by the gentleman who owned the 79. He was 96 years old when he passed. And if you saw in the video, he was talking about he would love to get a chance to restore it. He was talking about trying to get it going. So this truck has a Y block in it. I presume a 312. I really don't know, because I know like the F600s, they called them a FT, and they made them like crossover exhausts and all that sort of stuff. I'm not familiar if they did that with the Y blocks. Some of you may know that. If you do, educate me. So this is a F600. It's a 55 with a 56 grill. And I've actually not even cleaned this thing up. All I did is just bring it to the house and I've unloaded it. This is the only one in the fleet that doesn't run setting up here. So I haven't had time to work on it or anything, and we really haven't decided if we're going to, I don't know. Should we do a will it run on it? What do y'all think? It'd be kind of cool to see it run, I know.
It probably would run.
I think it would.
And it's got 55 Oldsmobile hood ornament.
So this truck has, if you look down the side of it, it has all of the labeling from the service station that this gentleman owned. It was called Austin Service Center, and it was in Alamo, Tennessee. The really cool thing Gerald had pointed out, this predates area codes, guys.
Yeah.
This is before the area codes were even
That's when
around.
you had to get a hold of the operator.
He called the operator.
Yeah.
Connect me to
696.
I'm in the ditch.
Yeah.
So this has a Holmes 460 record bed.
And he had an American gas station.
He had an American gas station, or was it Standard now?
Well, it went to Amco. American went to Amco.
American to Okay. Gerald knows a little bit more of the history on that sort of thing. One of the things I love about this bed.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
It has a toolbox that flips up. Inside here, actually, guys, is snow chains and all kinds of rigging stuff this gentleman had when he was running the truck. So it's really cool. It's got a really awesome history with it. It's got jacks where you can, you screw your boom moves up and down. It's got jacks under the bed that actually lower down to stabilize it. In the brochures, they talk about you can move your booms in and out this way. In fact, you could tie one boom off to somewhere else. Like if you were trying to pull a truck or car or whatever out of a ditch down an embankment, you could move one boom out and tie it down across the road and then leave the truck in the middle of the road, right? Swing that other boom out and run it down and hook up to your wreck that you're trying to drag out of the ditch. Drag that thing right on up into the road. So this is a really cool setup. A lot of years, a lot of stories. He talked about how this one was actually used in a dirt track type situation where he would basically sit there on Saturday nights and watch the races, and if they ever wrecked or whatever, he would go pull them out. So this is a neat truck. What is our plans with this one? We haven't really ironed that out, but I do have a Cummins truck. Diesel. Well, of course it's a Cummins.
Yeah.
Cummins with a 5-speed.
And I think that motor deserves a good body.
It's a 99 Dodge, y'all.
It's rough.
It's got 451,000 miles on it.
Well, it is the pack mule though.
With 0 blow-by.
Yeah.
Runs and drives great. I mean, you get in it. I wouldn't hesitate to jump in it and drive it. Yeah.
I didn't have any problems.
We've been pulling all kinds of stuff with it. Gerald, you put more miles on it than I have, actually.
Yeah, ever since you got it, I have put more miles on it than you have. Yeah, I've been hauling stuff myself. One cool story about this truck, though. I was sitting at a car show, and I was in my blue Super Cab, and the guy said, "Oh, you're into Fords, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You feel like buying something else?" I said, "Well, if I don't, I know somebody that might."
Sucker.
Yeah. So he sent me pictures of it, and I said, "Man, I'd love to have this, but I got too much stuff now." So I passed it on to John. He said, "Where'd you find this at?" I said, "I was at the car show. Guy offered it to me." And he said, "We need to go get that." I said, "Okay, we'll go get it."
Well, the crazy thing is I had bought the Dodge, what, 2 weeks prior to that maybe?
Yeah.
And that was because I had sold the mega cab I had and had a little bit left over from that. And so I thought, well, I'll just downgrade. I'll buy this 99 Dodge because it was quite a bit cheaper. My uncle owned it. And it was covered in mildew and mold when I got it. It was pretty ugly. It still is kind of ugly, but
beat up.
It was cheap.
But it runs good.
So I bought it, and I thought, well, we can use it for hauling trailers and stuff without me, having the expense of that other mega cab that was blowing oil everywhere. And I told him, I was like, well, we just need to keep our eye out. Maybe we'll find a good body to put over on it. I said, I don't really want to put a bump side or a dent. I want something different, maybe something older.
He does the same thing to me too.
2 weeks later, this shows up.
Yeah, if I ask him to look out for something next day or next 3 days, he's found it. So he does the same thing to me too.
I bought a ramp truck. Keep an eye out for an F600 front end. I'd like to put that on it. 2 weeks later, hey Gerald, I found your ramp one.
Yeah.
I found a green truck that nobody wants.
Yeah, he does that to me too, though.
I'm kind of a sucker for the F600s, if y'all hadn't noticed. A lot of the 2 tons, they end up on marketplace for dirt cheap. They'll be $500 to $800 because nobody can haul them out of there. And honestly, a 10,000 pound vehicle, if you scrapped it out, brings 8 to 1,000, depend in this area.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on it is even if I didn't use the frame or the bed or anything, the sheet metal doesn't weigh that much. I can save the sheet metal and haul the rest and at least make my money back.
Usually the cabs are nice too.
Yeah, the cabs usually have been sitting in a barn, so they're pretty good. All right, guys. So this is the last one in the car show. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and I cannot wait to show y'all this one. This is a 1950 even 1950 F1. This was another marketplace find, another one of those surfing the web, and you're going, dang it, that's cool. How long ago was that posted? 2 hours ago. It's probably still available. I don't need to buy nothing, but dang it.
I've been calling the marketplace the Devil's Place.
Devil's Place, yeah. It's replaced Evil Bay and Craigslist.
Yeah, there you go.
So this was just one of those trucks that just popped up on Marketplace, and although it was not cheap, it is definitely was a good buy. It's one of those deals where I feel like the seller got his money out of it, and I felt like that I didn't just steal it from him either. It was, I mean, it was an investment. I think in the long run, though, the truck's worth what I paid, and it should be worth more, honestly, if I wanted to sell it again. But it's not for sale. Not right now, anyway.
I enjoyed driving it today. It was nice.
This truck has the original flathead V8, and I'm not a flathead guru. I don't know that much about flathead V8s, but I'm gonna show y'all this thing. This thing runs like a top. Got this is a 1-barrel, right? 1-barrel carburetor on it?
1 barrel.
So it's got a 1-barrel carburetor. It's got an 8-volt battery on it. Still has like the original radiator in it. It
purrs.
It purrs. This truck runs like a champ. It's an EAB head. And I'm sure some of you flathead guys, y'all know exactly what that means. Me, I don't. If you want to know about an FE, I can tell you about an FE. So let's crank this thing up. So what about it? You can't get over that, can you? I didn't even pat the gas pedal. All I did was pull the choke just a little bit. She's been sitting here most of the day. Fires right up. I think it might be wanting to choke off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it wants to choke off.
Nope, maybe it wanted a little more choke.
Now.
I did.
Why don't you finish talking about it and come back to it?
Well, they like when you mess up.
Well, anyway, guys, I flooded it. But it's a good running truck.
It is, man.
I've drove it down the road. We've drove it about 50-something miles yesterday. Today, me and Gerald ran to the gas station and back in it.
Yeah, he gave me an awesome let me drive. Yeah, I thanked him a whole lot. I ain't drove one of these in a long time.
Well, you had one.
I had a 51. I cut the top off of it because it was rougher than this one.
It was an Ohio truck. So
yeah, it was
you
rough.
know what that's going to be.
So it'd been whacked off here and whacked off there, and I put a rail around it, and I drove it around as a roadster, basically.
So far since I've had it, just some mild things. I did an oil change on it. Got that dialed in. The front end has got some slack in it, as y'all probably would expect with any kind of 73-year-old suspension. It's all original. It's still 4-wheel drum brakes, and
didn't you say it had original shocks on it?
it has the original front shocks on it. I'm pretty sure they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're done.
Talk about the brake problem.
But so the brakes, yeah. So when I bought this truck and I go to test drive it, it's sitting in underneath the carport behind a body shop. The guy paints cars, and so he's telling me all the stuff about it, you know, that they bought it over in East Tennessee, and he said they actually drove it home from East Tennessee. He said, of course, it took forever. You know, you're driving 40, 45 mile an hour the whole way. And of course, from East Tennessee to West Tennessee is about 6 hours in a regular vehicle. Something like this, probably a day and a half.
It was all day. Yeah.
It's an all-day chore. So anyway, he was telling me all about how they had drove it up back and forth and whatnot. And he's like, it drives great, does really good. So of course we get in the test drive, and I'm definitely being a little pessimistic, thinking, okay, this 73-year-old suspension, everything, I don't know how well it's going to do. Got in it and took off. It pulls off like a champ. Of course, cranked up great. We're going down the road, and he goes, oh yeah, when you nail the brakes, it jerks to the left really hard. Oh, okay.
That's good to know.
That's good to know. So if I am meeting a car and I panic or anything and you nail the brakes, it's going to jerk pretty hard to the left. And sure enough, he's right. It will absolutely try to jerk the wheel out of your hands. But I mean, it's okay. It's something
stop.
that we can deal with.
It'll definitely stop.
As Gerald and me both said, it's probably going to be one of those, we're going to have to adjust some shoes and whatnot. I'm kind of in favor of going disc brake on the front end. I'm a big fan of safety upgrades, so I really feel like that's the best way to go with this one.
Me too.
Between the single reservoir master cylinder and the drum brakes on all four sides.
Yeah.
I think safety is one of those things that it needs to be fixed.
Especially if you're going to take any driving on it at all.
So what would y'all do?
Ask him.
You got this thing. What would you do? Would you try to fix this? Would you try to fix it, or would you leave it? Would you just call it patina? Tell me.
Yeah, see if anybody knows what these hubcaps are from. I don't even know what them hubcaps are from.
Well, he told me they were from eBay is all I know.
Yeah, what year hubcap though?
I don't know.
It had to be 50s or 60s. I don't know what they come off of.
I think she needs some running boards. They're a little rough, little rough for patina.
Yeah, them things are rotten.
Yeah, but the frame stands aren't.
Yeah, the frame stands, they usually don't rot.
She's got the DG towel seat special, and DG stands for Dollar General, in case some of y'all are on Mars and never seen a Dollar General. So, got the bath towels. Oh, another thing, I had to change out the fuel filler hose. It was leaking gas and fumes into the cab, which that's an easy fix. But the original hose was still on it, so it had to go. That was one of the first things I did on this thing. I actually fixed that yesterday. I put it on.
Change the oil too.
Changed the oil in it.
Piece of plywood in the back.
All original floor pans too. That's pretty wild, and they're not rotted out.
Yeah, this cab's nice.
The bottoms of the doors are solid. Needs a little interior work, but overall, what a cool truck. It's originally red, obviously, on the inside, and I think the outside probably was red as well. It's got some highlights here and there, and then somebody's painted it blue.
With a brush.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, very long time ago.
It's got a cool patina to it.
Yeah, it probably is brake shoes. Oh, tools. You got free tools.
I got tools.
That's a survival kit right there.
I thought I had brake parts, but no, I've got
a survival kit.
I've got a survival kit. I love it. Snap on. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, you got some of your money back there.
He's going to be watching this and going, dang it, I forgot I left that.
There.
Yep. Those ain't cheap either.
No, them ain't cheap either. None of that is cheap.
Combination adjustable knuckle buster too. Yep.
And Craftsman in there too.
Yep, some Craftsman wrenches. Got you 3/8 all the way up to 9/16. Yes. You can basically fix anything on this truck with that right there.
Survival
That's all
kit.
you need. That's awesome. Thank you for leaving that under the seat, by the way, if you are watching.
Good eye, Amanda.
So anyway, just kind of walk around, show y'all everything. It's got the porta walls on the tires. They're 15-inch. They're 5-on 5.5 pattern. Me and Gerald have no idea what the hubcaps come off of.
I don't know what those are.
So
it's kind of bugging me.
So it is the guy that I got it from, he fixed the bed floor. He put a plywood bed floor in it. He was telling me, he's like, you know, we use this truck. We have used it as a truck. He's like, this thing, although it is a hot rod and whatnot, he's like, we use it. He's like, I haul stuff in it. He said, I've had firewood stacked up in the back end of it. He's like, we haul a trailer with it. Yes, it has a hitch. It even has a receiver hitch. Well, it has
Welded in.
hitch ball welded on.
It's welded in.
But yeah, I mean, you could absolutely use this truck for whatever you need to do, except for maybe getting some trailer lights, because I'm going to say 6-volt is not going to cut it on your trailer lights.
The only thing you can't get in this is a speeding ticket.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, maybe in town.
I don't know.
Maybe in town you would.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the chains. I feel like the chains should be a little more factory-ish with the hook that snaps down, but you know,
Yeah.
all those are things that can be fixed.
And
Little
with
bitty,
the
teeny tiny
rubber
tail lights
cover.
it's got. I love the patina though. What do y'all think? You love it? I think it's awesome. It's got a great patina to it. Probably needs a little, I don't know, boiled linseed oil, or
Man, one thing it needs is a HalfMoon Custom logo. on
needs
the
a
door.
HalfMoon Customs logo on the door.
And I might even paint it on there.
Well, go for it.
That looks
It's
cool
got-
painted. This thing is cool.
Yeah, I thought it was neat. It even has like the stains from where it was hauled garbage in it and stuff. I mean, this thing's been used as a truck its whole life.
Yeah.
This one is just absolutely dripping with it. It's cool. It's got all the looks. In my opinion, I think it's awesome.
I wonder what that bumper sticker said though.
I don't know. I asked him about that too. He said he didn't really know.
It's probably from Kennedy.
I need one of those that's like Kennedy or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably Kennedy.
You might be able to find some of those like reproduction. That'd be kind of cool to put on there.
Yeah. JFK.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we just really wanted to show y'all our latest purchase and poor financial decision.
I don't think so. I would have bought it.
No, it was a good buy. It really was. Like I said, you can't take it with you, so you might as well enjoy it because it looks a lot better in this type of format than it does in a bank.
Yeah.
And they're losing money anyway. All those bureaucrats up in
Washington.
north of Richmond.
Yeah. There you go. I like that guy.
That's a pretty awesome song.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. So anyway, we really appreciate y'all coming and checking out HalfMoon Customs virtual car show. We hope to catch up with y'all some, maybe even next week. As soon as next week, we've got a pretty big update planned for the bump side mega cab. We're gonna really start to make some headway on that one very, very soon. So if y'all haven't already, hit the like, hit that subscribe, and follow along. Check us out. We're on all the other platforms as well. I've got Twitter and not Twitter. Oops, I don't have Twitter. No.
Instagram.
We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, Facebook. We're on Facebook. You can friend us on Facebook even. Gerald runs the Facebook account. I've got the Instagram. I have no idea what I'm doing on Instagram. I can get some videos out on there a little bit, like some reels, but I don't really use Instagram a lot.
We're up to 81 followers on our Facebook site.
Sweet.
So
if you haven't yet, get on there and check us out. And another shout out to Mark Leonard. Mark Leonard has a website called bumplife.com. And so Mark Leonard makes a lot of really cool shirts that are for the 67, 72s. He makes, he's even starting to expand. This is one of his latest things he's coming out with is the dent side stuff. There's not enough stuff out for the dent side guys. So Mark Leonard's actually coming out with Dent Life. And so there's going to be lots of really cool shirts. In fact, I've already bought one. He's going to be shipping me some Dent Life shirts. You'll see some of those on the channel. There's even rumor, Mark, that he may be making some Half Moon merchandise. So hopefully we can get him on board with making some Half Moon Customs merchandise. And let us know what you want. If you would be interested in buying some merchandise, comment down below and let us know what it is you'd be interested in. Is it a hat? Is it a shirt? What would you like to see on it? Would you like to see the bump side mega cab, maybe the 50? Would you like to just see something generic, kind of with a grill or a bumper or something? What do you want to see? You want to see your truck? I don't know. But anyway, enough rambling. Thank you for watching, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
See ya.
See ya.